Hey guys, it's Lan Harrop here, and welcome to episode, I think, 15 now of my F1 2016 career mode, and we're here in Singapore today, in like Monza Spa. It's one of my favourite tracks in the world, and, and yeah, hopefully we'll be hoping for a good race here, and, I mean, yeah, let's get into the weekend, and I think we've got some R&D upgrades to deal with.
Okay, I've got something for you. The new parts have been fitted to the car. The simulation numbers are good, so look forward to your feedback. Check out the details.
So obviously there are the R&D upgrades. We upgraded our engine power, which will definitely come in handy here, because even though it's a downforce heavy circuit, we do need it on the straights with our setup, so it will give us an extra advantage. Obviously now fourth in the standings of development, so let's get into practice one.
Welcome to the Marina Bay circuit in the heart of Singapore. The rain is falling for the start of today's practice session, making life much more difficult for the teams than they may have anticipated. I'm here with Anthony Davidson once again. Nice to see you, Ant, and I wanted to ask you about how you go about improving the car over the course of a practice session. How much would you say is already known from the pre-race simulations? And how much do you have to do, how much do you have to work on with a real car on a real circuit?
Well, that's a good question, Crofty, and I suppose the simple answer is that there's no such thing as too much information. As you say, the bigger teams have very complex simulations, vast numbers of clever people crunching the numbers back at base, but what they can't tell you is stuff like how the track condition's going to be, or what the temperature's going to be doing over the course of the day, and how all of that's going to be interacting with the tyre. There are so many millions of tiny variables involved in getting these cars around a racetrack quickly, but the computer can't tailor the car to a driver's specific balance requirements. At some point, you still need to put a human being in there and have them feel it through the seat of their pants. And that's why we end up with different drivers having different setups. So what I'm trying to say is, Crofty, nothing beats on-track testing.
So here we are, practice one, as we're looking at the weather forecast for the weekend, and obviously rain in P1 and P2 isn't exactly good. I think we can do track acclimatization in the wet weather, but apart from that, it looks like it's going to be a dry weekend. So we're going on track acclimatization here in the wet, and it was pretty standard as per usual. We just use it back in momentarily coming out of the final corner there. And as we can line we get purple with only 3 green gates. Now in practice 2, when it's dry, we're going to go into qualifying pace, try to do it as quickly as possible. And I had a lot of pace weekend, so you can see we're already 2 tenths up on our target. And until we really get better at these tracks, I'm really going to get the target really. As we come through the final corner, and yeah, there we go.
It's late in the evening here in Singapore, and it's time for qualifying, so settle down and enjoy the action. This is the kind of track that eats rear tyres for breakfast, or so I'm told by more experienced drivers than myself.
No matter how good a driver is at managing their throttle application to limit rear slip, they can't always overcome a car that's inherently bad at looking after its rear tyres. Here we have a lot of low-speed corner exits, which means a whole load of energy, heat and tyre wear.
Here we are in qualifying for the Singapore Grand Prix here, and we've got the ultra softs here this weekend, which is really good. As we can see, we have quite, I wouldn't say extreme setup, but it's definitely catered towards downforce, as we just limit the fuel there for enough to get us ready for the lap. So we're going to head out onto our first lap on the ultra soft tyres, and it was actually a really good lap. I mean, strung it together pretty quickly. Like, there's a few bumps here and there, but that's Singapore circuit. We set the fastest lap of qualifying. Obviously that got beaten, as you can see, by Hamilton there. But we went on another lap, and I just couldn't beat it, because I think I did really good, and we found some new pace. And I fast forwarded it, yeah, and I qualified in 5th on our first lap, which is really good. And so yeah, we could be in podium contention here. So let's try to get that podium, and let's get into the race.
Hello and welcome one and all to the shining streets of Singapore. Can you believe we've been coming here for nearly a decade now? It feels like only yesterday that Felipe Massa was dragging his fuel hose down the pit lane in that eventful opening race, and in a Grand Prix won from pole position more often than not. Will we see a new victor crowned today? Situated just 88 miles north of the equator, this 3.5-mile circuit is hot, it's humid, and is an incredible test for the drivers as they try to fight their cars around the bumps and in between the barriers. 23 corners take us twice over the bay to complete a single lap of this unique racetrack. The view is spectacular, the heat is unbearable. The race should be incredible. Anthony Davidson is alongside me in the commentary box this evening, and big race this one, a real test of endurance. Sounds right up your alley. Wouldn't you just love to be down there on the grid right now?
You know what, Crofty? I'm pretty happy to be up here in my air conditioning, thank you, right now. I can't stress just how difficult these conditions can be, especially when you consider it's the longest race on the calendar in terms of time. It's also one of those races where you have to remember to keep drinking, or there's a real risk of dehydration, just like we saw with young Kevin Magnussen a couple of years ago, don't forget. We mentioned the bumps as well. Take a look at the onboards if you get a chance during this race. The movement in the suspension and the chassis is just incredible, and it's lots of hard work to wrestle the car around a lap here.
Excellent job yesterday. We qualified above expectations. Let's go out there and put in a performance.
So here we're on the grid for the Singapore Grand Prix. Pretty simple. It's actually not much tyre wear than I thought, actually, because it goes from ultra soft to super soft, and it seems to have enough grip. So I think we're just going to extend the pit stop window by once more and get the most out of this set of tyres. And really, let's just fill up the tank with as much fuel as possible for as much rich mix as possible. As we go to the grid, we're going to 5 red lights, put it up in rich mix, as I just said, and it's away we go for Singapore Grand Prix. And yeah, straight away we get a good start as Vettel gets a terrible start there. And we're going into turn 1 and we can see he tries to get around us. So we tap Rosberg there as he just goes a bit slowly, but we have to go down the brake check. But we see a warning that collision with Rosberg. We're just going to follow Rosberg and maybe look for move down the inside. And we hit the curb a bit, he tries to push us a bit more. So we get very close to the wall and we're just going to get into the slipstream of Hamilton and Ricciardo double toe here. As we might look, because we brake early to avoid an accident, guys. Hamilton pushes Ricciardo wide and we make contact. So I'm just going to keep following behind here. We've got our podium, and it seems that we might have a chance here as Ricciardo through to the right. As we go on the outside, he touches us as we go very close to this wall. But we've made it around the outside and we're into the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. And what a start, really. And coming on to the end of lap 1, we've already got around a 2-second lead.
The track is clear. Green flag. Safety car deployed. The safety car has been deployed. Watch your delta. Make sure you keep it positive as we catch that strategy. Do you want to change or stick to plan A? Exit now.
The safety car's now coming in here on back out, so we're going to look to try and close up and Hulkenberg as much as possible. And now as it goes to green flags, we're just going to keep into the slipstream of Hulkenberg, and we probably won't make a move for anything too far back. We're going to brake a bit earlier than we would usually, as he goes very slowly for the first corners. We dive down the inside here at turn 3. And maybe we could try to catch up to Hamilton at this point. But now, here on lap 10, a few laps later, we're extremely close behind. But DRS has not been activated at this point. So, we're just going to have to use slipstream here to try and overtake him more. But we're a bit far back, but we brake as late as possible, and we have a bit of a dive bomb move and squeeze Hamilton out wide as we get ahead of him. So now it's our job to get as many cars through as possible. As we come down into this really tight section, we go down inside of Button there. So that's in one car between us and Hamilton. And now Verline's gone into the pits, and now at lap 12 we see Hamilton looking up for a move there. As he tries to go down the inside here, but we brake later and maybe try to hang it around the outside. We tap tyres, his right front and my left front tyre there tapping, as he just forces right as we tap the wall, as it's getting a bit tight here with Raikkonen. But now on lap 14 we're still leading the race. He tried to come around from outside here, but with the inside line we're just going to squeeze him out and get the apex there. So I think if we hold on onto this on the final lap, then I think we may have won our first Grand Prix. And here we are on the final lap of the Grand Prix. I think Hamilton's just going to come round, try to get down our inside, and he doesn't, as we keep to the middle of the track. So it's a bit indecisive to where Hamilton's going to go, but he doesn't pass us. So I think we're going to come home to win our first ever Grand Prix and the second ever Grand Prix win for Toro Rosso. What a race and what a result.
Great win then for the Toro Rosso team today. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
And look at this, they're coming out now. Toro Rosso have developed something of a reputation for forging exciting talent, and we can see that here. An incredible victory.
So here we are, winning our first ever Grand Prix, especially with the Toro Rosso. And we had so much pace this weekend, like it was unbelievable. And the setup just clipped, so that's a full new 25 points to the standings. But we're 117 points, we're way ahead of Bottas. And there is the Singapore trophy, along with our second at Spielberg and third at Monza. And that is so amazing, and it's a bit annoying that we didn't get enough resource points. But aside from that, I think I'll definitely take the win and going into the next race at Kuala Lumpur, which I'm really pleased about. And this has been the best race that I've raced in. It's not been the best weekend, but it's definitely been the best race. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you later.